And everybody else wearing Nikes. But you're still walking in some shoes. And the thing is that you have to still realize that you're still blessed. Because when you can't see the favor on your life for looking at the issues in your life, it makes it difficult for God to speak to you. Because you still ought to be able to sit back and look at, well, God, I know I'm going through this, but I still see what you did for me. That's why I always think in me, I don't care what I'm going through. Lord, thank you for waking me up this morning. Even though I may be in pain, thank you, Lord, for allowing me another moment. Even though I might not have what I want, Lord, thank you. Because at the end of the day, all he has to do is say the word, and he can flip the whole script on your life. But the reason why some of us have to go through some of this stuff is because we're not ready for the full blessing that he wants to lay upon us. Because if you can't see the favor while you have the flaw, what happens when I remove the flaw? Are you worship me the same way? When I remove the situation, are you to me the same way? When I fix it for you, are you still going to walk the same way? Are you still going to come to church the same way you touch it when I touch it? Are you still going to be the same person that you were while you had the issue? Sometimes God has to put that on us so that we can have a governor on our lives, and it keeps us from going over the limit where we can still be in control. You know, I drove school buses on the side for a long time, and sometimes when you drive a school bus, it makes you mad because they only go so fast. And the only reason why they go so fast is because they put a governor on it, and the governor makes it so you can't go over a certain speed limit. And the reason why they do that is because it's not because the bus doesn't have the ability to do it. It's because the person behind the wheel might make it do it, even though they're not supposed to make it do it. And so God has to put butts in our lives to govern us. So that we don't get so out of control that we forget who took care of our issue. So we can't be at the point of where we look at things and say, there's no way that my healing can't come from a Jordan River. There's this young lady that her grandparents had passed away, and she inherited the house. And the house was all leaning to the side, and she found out that the land was worth a whole lot of money. And the structures on the land wasn't worth nothing. So she was just going to sell the land without looking in the structures. But before she sold the land, she went down and she started looking in the structures. And said, I better go through the house, but I know mama and grandmama didn't have anything. But she decided to go down there and look, and there was an old shed in the back. She got in the old shed, and there were some things that were covered up. And so she took the covers off the stuff in the shed. The first thing she uncovered was a white 1983 Lamborghini Countach. The second thing she uncovered was a red 1983 308 Ferrari. And she found a little sign back there, and she discovered that before her grandfather passed away, that he used to have a exotic rental car business. And the business was never that profitable. So instead of selling the cars, he put them over in this old shed and put covers on them. And they had sat there for decades. And when she came and uncovered them, she immediately called somebody who was able to appraise them and found out that in this old, dilapidated, messed up place, there was something that was worth over $400,000. Now, if she would have had sold the land and tore the land up, she never would have found the value in the place that she thought was beneath her value. Sometimes you got to check into stuff. But she found something that she never knew about her grandparents. And she was getting ready to throw it away because the house was leaning. The shacks were leaning. And the structure had no value. But it's what was in the structure. See, the Jordan may have been dirty, but it's the one who called the Jordan into existence that was in the water. See, you have to understand that every time you ask God for something and you're led a certain way, just because of what it is doesn't mean that he's not in it. He can still be in your Jordan River. He can still be in your Jordan River. I'm about to wrap this thing up. I was looking at a snippet of the Steve Harvey show.